My name is Ken Kramer, and I'm the Senior Vice President and Head of Medical Affairs at Helus Pharma. We know that there are about 23 million people in the United States, over 300 million worldwide, who are living with major depressive disorder. And at least 50% of them who are on a monotherapy like an SSRI or an SNRI are having an inadequate response to their treatment, which means they're getting a little bit better. You could almost call them the walking wounded. And what we're trying to do at Helus is develop and evaluate a medication, a novel serotonergic agonist, that is going to be used as an adjunctive treatment for major depressive disorder. So that's the first way that HLP003 is different from some of the other psychedelics that are currently in development. Our indication is for the adjunctive treatment of MDD, meaning that somebody is on a background therapy. They're getting a little bit of improvement, but they want more. They can do better. And so by adding on a complementary medication like HLP003, we are hopefully able to increase their response to their total medication, meaning that we don't have to wait for them to be declared treatment resistant for them to be able to be an appropriate patient for this medication, if approved for the indication of adjunctive treatment of MDD. The second way that we're different is that our molecule is deuterated psilocin. So you've heard about psilocybin. Everyone knows about the magic mushroom. The magic mushroom is nothing special. It is, as many medications that come from natural forms, is a molecule. That molecule is psilocybin. But psilocybin needs to be converted into the body to its active ingredient, to its active metabolite. That active metabolite is psilocin. But psilocin is a very unstable molecule, and it rapidly interconverts into something that's not active. So by deuterating it, by replacing the hydrogens with deuterium, we are able to stabilize that molecule, meaning that we don't have to go through a process of ingesting psilocybin and having it converted into something else before it gets into the brain and does its business. So we are using the active ingredient, and we're kind of bypassing the middleman. And by looking at an indication of adjunctive MDD, we are really looking at a patient population that is about, as I said before, 50 to almost 60% of all patients with MDD, instead of just the 20 or 25% of patients who have TRD. We are also excited to give people the opportunity to get more from their medication that they're already on. It's almost like you could think of it as, in this case, 1 + 1 maybe doesn't make 2, but makes 3 or 4. That's our hope, and that's how it's different. Right, so right now we are the only novel serotonergic agonist, part of this psychedelic endeavor of research that is looking at an adjunctive MDD indication, meaning that we are evaluating in our phase 3 program HLP003 being added on top of an existing antidepressant, SSRI or SNRI or other. And what that allows us to do is to be potentially used earlier in the treatment paradigm. When you look at the currently accepted treatment paradigm for major depressive disorder, step 1 is an SSRI or an SNRI. And then if that doesn't work, you usually change either within the class or across the class, SSRI to another SSRI or a SSRI to an SNRI. Now, for patients that are having some response, they're seeing a little bit of benefit, then step 3, line 3, is usually adding something on top of it. Now, what's available to add on top of it right now are a couple of different classes. The first one is lithium or thyroid hormone, and those have very, very middling efficacies, and they're also somewhat difficult to use. But the bigger portion of adjunctive treatments are the atypical antipsychotics, and those have been used for nearly 30 years. And while they have helped a lot of patients, they come with tolerability trade-offs, weight gain, sedation, akathisia, extrapyramidal motor symptoms. And these lead to a number of patients, the majority of patients, discontinuing their medication. So the current adjunctive standard of care can be very difficult to use, and also comes with a couple of caveats. Number one, you have to take the medication every day. It's another medication to take every day on top of the background SSRI. So if we get approved for adjunctive treatment of MDD, and we slot into that line of therapy, then we will be able to treat not only a larger portion of patients with MDD, but we see ourselves being used prior to somebody being determined to be treatment resistant.